Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Javia and this is Javia Jewel. Today I am going to be doing a video with my dad. As you can see, he's sitting next to me right here. You can introduce yourself.
Hello, Javia Jewel's fans.
Fans. Dad. Today I'm going to be asking my dad questions you're too afraid to ask yours. Asking my African dad questions you're too afraid to ask yours. I've done it with my mom and that did really well. So I thought I would do it with my dad because maybe that's a different perspective. The current climate of the world with gender-based violence and all of that, I just felt like it would be a good time to do one with my dad because we can ask him some of the questions relating to that. And then we can ask him some of the other questions that you guys wanted to know for yourself. I asked on my Instagram yesterday and today for people to ask questions that they want me to ask my dad.
Can I give my disclaimer?
Go ahead.
So my disclaimer is that everything that is said here stays in the YouTube.
I'm scared.
Juicy.
Did you want boys?
What does that mean?
Did you want boys, like as kids? As
No,
like,
I wanted children.
like your children? As your children, your children that you wanted, did you want boys?
I wanted children. So
But did you want boys?
I see children as an important part of my life, irrespective of their gender. Your mom will tell you that when we started having children, all I always said was that I wanted children and I wanted 10 children. But as life would have it,
Yeah, that didn't happen.
we ended up where we ended up, but I just wanted children.
How is it being a dad of daughters?
I think it's the most exciting, educational, encouragement place to be.
Okay.
And
You mean encouraging place to be?
yeah,
You're encouraging place
yes,
to be.
it's the most encouraging place to be.
Okay.
You know, I grew up in Africa where there's a high level of patriarchy. In my home, where I grew up with your grandparents, we didn't have that. For me, growing up in an environment where I have only girls in the house that I can coach, I can mentor, I can encourage, I can actually get them to understand how men think.
Did your parents treat you and your female siblings differently?
Not at all. Probably the only thing that they would want the boys to do and not the girls is something that is like extremely physical. For example, we used to fetch wood. You need to break the wood to prepare it for fire, right? The girls would not do that.
Okay.
We would fetch the wood, we would split wood, we'll break the wood and prepare it for fire. It didn't mean that when we made the wood and prepared it for fire, we were not going to cook.
Yeah.
For example.
My dad only has one female sibling and she's his older sister.
but we
But
have
in
lots
the
of-
family and in our family context,
We had
we
lots of
have,
female
they've
and
always
female
had lots of like cousins who like live with them. They call them brothers and sisters because it's Africa, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just everybody's your brother, everybody's your
nothing
sister.
like,
Then this one says, why mom? So why did you choose mom?
It was instant. You know, the thing about meeting your mate and knowing that this is your mate, from your own personal standpoint, you must have resolved the matter in your heart. You don't meet your mate just by accident. You meet your mate when
Because you've put out into the
atmosphere
that you want someone
that right now
to marry.
this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want, and
This is what I want to get.
yes, and as soon as that thing presents itself, it becomes very, very clear to you.
This is what you asked for.
Yes, mom always tells you guys, right, that as soon as I saw her, I told her she was going to be my wife. And it's because at the time I had already resolved in my heart.
Set that intention.
Yes.
If someone comes up to you, because they met in the bank, right? So if someone comes to me at the bank and goes, I'm gonna marry you, I would be like, I'd be like, no sir. I'd be like, okay. Like it wouldn't
Back
happen.
of devil.
Yeah. This one says, why is it hard for you to say you love me? Now, this is not something that I experienced. My sister and I have grown up in a very loving, father present father home. We
Overpresent.
Actually, he's too much. He's too involved. But that's a blessing, and I'm never gonna say that that's not a blessing, because there's people who don't have that same experience.
So this is actually probably very cultural.
Yeah.
I think it's more in the African context.
Yeah.
Where parents, those of us who are parents now, may not have grown up in an environment where your own parents
Tell you that they love you.
expressed themselves in that way towards you. My mother, my father, they always said they loved us. From when we were children, even till now, my father still tells me he loves me. For somebody who may not have experienced that,
Yeah.
they may also find it difficult to share that even with their children.
Yeah. I was watching a TikTok or something or YouTube video the other day where this girl was in the car with her Nigerian dad, and she just said, "I love you," and he didn't say anything back. He just felt like then she was like, "Say it back," and he was like, "I don't have to." Then he was like, "You already know."
No, yeah.
What I want to say is that I think, especially in the African father context, they think, or how they know showing love, they don't have to say that they love you. How they believe that they show you that they love you through providing, through making sure you go to school, making sure you have food, making sure you have clothes. For them, that is showing love, and they don't have to tell you that. It's a hard one. Did you ever sexually assault or harass someone? Or, I'm gonna add this, did you ever see it happening and allow it to happen?
Ooh.
We all know,
so
you and your friends, you and your brother, you went out, you were with the Huns. Did you ever, because I don't know, but did you, if you did you ever sexually harass someone or assault them? And did you ever see someone sexually harassing or assaulting someone and not do something about it?
Okay, so in the context of where I grew up, right, there is that is the biggest challenge that we have in sexual and gender-based violence situation that plagues our world at the moment. In a lot of communities, we get mentored by the people around us. We get encouraged by the people around us. We see what they do, and we go out and express the same thing to other people, right?
Okay.
As for someone sexually assaulting someone, I've never been in that place. I've never sexually assaulted. I've never been in a place where I know that someone is being sexually assaulted.
Okay.
That's the one. But as for just being violent,
like harassment,
harassment, being violent, or say beating a girlfriend, I have seen that happen.
Okay.
And at the time, growing up,
didn't know better.
I didn't know better, and I didn't even know that there was something wrong.
Culturally, because that's what you saw.
Because that's what we saw in our neighborhood. We used to see boyfriends and girlfriends fight. The boy would beat the girl, and then there will be a conversation in the neighborhood, and that's it.
Okay, so
all the parents are standing back as well, and all the children are looking at them and thinking, but this must be right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you see young men who are going through the same thing that you did, where it was normal in your community to see such stuff, and you didn't do anything because you didn't know better. Young men who are in those situations, what should they do, and how do they better themselves and their mates and their friends?
So it starts with the internal conversations that you have with your friends. Okay, so if this is happening in your neighborhood, what would happen normally is that
you and your friends start
the neighborhood will come out onto the streets, right, and have a bit of a conversation. The fight is finished. They will help to separate. Each person will go to their homes, but the neighborhood will still be standing there, and this is what happened. This is what happened, right? That is where you, as a young person who is now aware of this whole situation, should now start putting your voice in the conversation.
Yeah.
To say that this thing that happened here should not be happening.
Hold your friends accountable, educate yourself, and start having active conversations with your friends
yes.
on how to, instead of lashing out, communicate, have healthy communication.
A healthy conversation.
Yeah.
Another very important thing is power. So don't always think that because you are
male, you have power.
Then you are supposed to be dominant.
Okay.
You don't have to be the dominant voice.
Yeah, that's what people need to learn.
Yes.
Is that in a relationship, there are specific times where you can be dominant and the other person can be dominant.
Absolutely.
Because each of you brings something different to
Absolutely
the
to the table, and that's what I'm saying.
table. How many women did you date before you met mom?
Woo! Like,
He has to go through.
He has to go
through the
I
log.
have to really process it properly. So
Okay.
probably 4 or 5. I'm saying 4 or 5 because one we almost dated, but we really didn't.
So then the next question is, what's your type? So you understand the question, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's your type?
My type?
Yes.
It's your mother.
Good. You're gonna give that.
So the first criteria is that the person must be a happy person.
Okay.
Secondly, it has to be somebody who can really challenge me because I am a bit headstrong. So it has to be someone with whom I can really engage at a high level of a conversation.
Okay, so intellectual. Wise.
Not wise.
Okay.
Yes, wise. She has to be beautiful. Of course, there's no doubt about that, But beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Then this one says, why doesn't he trust me to make good decisions regarding boys? I personally don't have this issue, but that's because I'm me. but if you had to have this issue or you had to give
Ask the
someone an
question.
answer, why doesn't he trust me to make good decisions regarding boys?
Why does my father not trust me?
To make good decisions regarding boys.
So the one thing about us parents is that we are scared that our children should not be confronted either with our character in the boys
But
that they did.
okay.
Because of the familiarity around your parents, you end up gravitating towards people who are almost like your parents. For parents who do not have that confidence in their children, there is that fear. Okay, there's that fear that you may end up with someone who has a character or character trait,
That's like yours. And it could be toxic.
and it could be a toxic character.
Okay. Did you ever drink or smoke?
You can answer that.
Well, he says to us no.
Oh,
Joe, that's a lot.
But it's a lie, because I do think Dad drank, right?
No,
Because he
never.
told us
No,
that
he
story.
didn't. He doesn't drink.
Never.
But
He
like,
doesn't drink.
I never drank. I never smoked. I never even did.
Right.
Drugs.
No, I never did.
Drugs.
They call it what here in
Like
South Africa?
Weed.
Yeah, I never did weed.
Okay. You never did drugs.
In Cameroon, you know how we call it?
What?
Nku.
Okay. And then, did you ever go out and party? Which I know the answer to, but you must say it.
Of course.
Of course.
That was like
He
hectic
had an older brother. That was like hectic.
and even toxic.
Why are you so that was toxic? Why was it toxic?
No, so even Grandpa would say, because Grandpa would always ask us, don't you guys get tired of your night outings?
Okay, did you ever rate girls in school? Do you know what that means?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you ever rate girls in school?
not rate. We just know.
You did. You did.
I think there is, in Mom's conversation on Saturday, one of the guests was saying that when boys turn 14, something goes wrong in their head.
Yeah, no, you guys lose it.
For us, especially, in my when we were growing up, there's always the thing of, okay, so
She's pretty.
yes,
Okay.
not as if we are saying she's prettier than that one.
Okay.
We just said this girl is pretty, that one is pretty, that one is pretty,
Did you ever say that one's
There's
not?
but this one is not.
oh!
When did you lose your virginity?
Woo. You need to sip your tea. That you've never heard, right?
You never tell us. We ask you all the time.
We
and you
ask
never
you
tell
all the time, but you don't say.
I think 15.
Wow, that's so different from mom.
Knowing what I know now,
You wouldn't have.
guaranteed.
Why do you always say you'll understand when you're older?
It's about journeys.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's about journeys, and Life is an amazing, amazing journey, and it reveals things. You know, remember the preaching we listened to the other week of plot twist.
Yeah.
There's always, like, when you think you already know, then something else happens.
Happens, yeah.
Then when you think you already know, then something else deviates. You know? So when an adult says to you, you'll understand when you get older, right? They are probably pulling from their experience and what they have seen, what they know.
You did a good job. Oh,
He's not. That's lucky. He goes, oh, he goes.
really? Thank you so much for clicking into this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for clicking into this video. It's been an absolute enjoyment, pleasure, and excitement to bless you guys with our faces. That's faces.
Faces.
Anything else that you wanted to say?
Disclaimer, everything that is said in this video stays in this video.
Okay.
No conversations out of this
So
video.
do you want to attack a specific person?
You know
Your
the
wife.
person, her, because she's gonna come after me for some of my responses there.
That's just his wife, okay? Anyway, so stay blessed, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.